Well, I'm back with another Red Dead journal after a few weeks of not doing one. And I actually haven't played Red Dead all that much recently. In fact, I let my streak of daily challenges go and hadn't logged on for several days. I did briefly engage in some of the clown stuff that was going on. Last week, I guess? Maybe a week before. Made a clown outfit, ran around a little bit, didn't really get involved in any of the big clown hangouts or anything. But of course, the new update finally dropped. Today's Wednesday, 7/29, so technically it dropped yesterday. And I know a lot of people have already done a lot of work on it. The YouTube content creators who managed to find time to play video games a lot have done a lot more than I have. I was lucky enough that between downloading it and playing it for maybe 2 to 3 hours, I was actually able to work that in last night because I have a regular job and a regular life, and I couldn't even do anything with it till, 6 or 7 at night. And then I played it for a little while and took a break for a little while my daughter got on, and then I played it a little bit more. So I'm going to give you my impression of this new update without necessarily a lot of experience yet, and I recognize too that some of the guys who are much more into the game have already posted half a dozen videos each and have talked about a lot of other stuff. So I'm just a day late, dollar short, but it's what I got. First off is the Outlaw Pass. That's the first thing I bought. It's 40 gold. There's 80 levels. I think 40 gold is kind of expensive for 80 levels. That's what we got for 100 levels the last time. It was 30, was it 30 or 35 for Outlaw Pass 1? And it was 70 levels. So either way, I think this is a little pricey for what it is. That said, it doesn't really matter too much what it costs because assuming you go all the way through it, and there's no good reason why you wouldn't because it's not hard to do, you get all the gold back that you spend plus everything else. So it's worth doing. It's not a big deal to do it. It is a little disappointing though that like I said, it costs the same as a 100 level Outlaw Pass 2, and this is only the 80 level Outlaw Pass 3 at the same price. I also think a lot of the things that it offers are not quite as cool as what we got in Outlaw Pass 2 or even Outlaw Pass 1 in some respects. They had some really cool things. In this one, there's a lot more bonuses, a lot more discounts, a lot more stuff that's cool but nothing memorable. It's not something that you can look at after the fact and say, check this out, this is something that I had because I was playing when Outlaw Pass 3 came out. There's a few things like that, of course. There's some unique outfits. There's a unique camp dog, kind of like we had in the last one. And some other stuff like that. So I'm not saying that there's none of it, but there doesn't seem to be as much of it as I was expecting. There are some cool things though. One of the things that they added, which I think it's in the Outlaw Pass, that I think was long overdue, is a Lone Ranger mask. Now I was a little bit afraid that they were going to consider it a mask, and for whatever reason you cannot wear a mask and a hat. But it looks like it actually registers as a bandana, even though it looks like a Lone Ranger mask, which means that you can wear it with a hat, and you actually can create a Lone Ranger or a Robin or a Joker or some other characters who traditionally wear those kind of masks. So that's kind of cool. I actually think that one was probably overdue. So like I said, a little disappointing, not the most exciting Outlaw Pass, but it's still worth doing because whatever you spend on it, you get back anyway. So it's basically free as long as you don't mind being without your 40 gold until you're done with it when you get it all back again. And actually, you get some of it back already. I only played for like 3 hours, and I'm already at level 5 on the Outlaw Pass, and I wasn't even, particularly trying to grind through it very fast. And I've already got at least 5 of my gold back already too. So plus a bunch of money and plus some other stuff. So that's kind of cool. The other thing that's new is what did we get for the mystery rewards on Outlaw Pass 2 that we now finally get given to us. And it looks like it is an emote, and the other thing is a vest, and you get, of course, all the colors for it. It's just free. You get the whole thing, all the vest, every color. And it's a decent looking vest. It's not quite as cool as the one that was out last time, but it's still a pretty cool vest, and I like it. And I've actually already incorporated it into one or two of my outfits, and it's a reasonably warm vest. It's not a thin vest. It actually adds a little bit of warmth, so you can be careful when you stack it that you don't end up wearing, with cold weather, turning your outfit into a cold weather outfit because, among other things, you put the vest on. So yeah, the other thing, and then of course the other big part of the ad is the new role. And I've got mixed feelings about this role for a couple of different reasons. So, and some of the stuff actually that I like best is not technically part of the role itself, but it was added to be complementary to the role. So I'll consider that part of the role for sake of this review, but technically it's not. Technically it's something that is, you do have to unlock the role to do it, but it doesn't actually add to the role. You don't get any role experience for doing it, etc., etc. So let me kind of go through the good, the bad, and the ugly of this role. The good is they have added a guy named Gus, who is a retired big game hunter. He's a very different personality than the Canadian trapper from single player, but he plays the exact same role. And he has these trapper locations set up at not only every single location that the single player trapper is in, but then also another one or two locations as well, including one in Cholla Springs. I haven't actually looked to see if there's another additional one or not, but I think there might be. I'll have to double check on that. In any case, he's a trapper, and he does a similar thing to what the trapper in the single player is. You can sell animal parts to him or animal carcasses. If you have perfect animal parts and perfect animal carcasses, you can make them into unique outfits and clothes that you can wear. There's kind of a drip feed approach to it, though. You can't just get everything all at once, which is fine. He also does some other things, and some of it I haven't even looked into really yet. He makes some other gear, and I know that the trapper in single player did too. He would make saddles for you and some other stuff like that. I know this guy, he makes saddle bags for you. He offers an improved bow customization, and he's got some other things like that. But I think a lot of what the trapper will offer will be coming in over the next several months probably as a drip feed, and I think it'll be similar to the legendary bounties, where every week there was a new legendary bounty. This time it's going to be legendary animals, and they will operate much like legendary bounties, but there's going to be a lot more of them. There already are a lot more of them. Not only that, it's not a one and done, because it's online and it's persistent across, multiple players, stuff respawns. So you kill the legendary animal, you can go back and do it again, I guess. He also, unlike the trapper in single player, you can bring him the same, for example, there's a pair of pants that you need to bring him a perfect buckskin or buck hide for, and he makes the pants, but there's actually multiple color variants, just like there is in, when you buy stuff at the store. So you may want to bring him as many as 10 different buckskins and get all 10 colors of the pants. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. So anyway, there's a lot to keep you busy here. I actually really got kind of into the bringing stuff to the trapper and making all the trapper outfits in single player, so I imagine that I will here as well. In fact, I've already started. I've made a few things at least, and I can't wait to do more once I get the opportunity and the time to go through this. But that is actually not part of the role itself. I mean, you do need to start the role in order to do that, and then you do have access to the legendary animals and all that other stuff, so it's it's associated with the role, but it's not the role itself. The role itself gives you the most annoying patron character in the game. Anyway, I'm skipping the bad and going to the ugly. The role itself, you have this kind of naturalist lady who's this really weird PETA hippie princess, very entitled, very bratty. And what she wants you to do is run around tagging animals with tranquilizer darts, basically. You shoot them out of your varmint rifle, which is a .22 caliber. So you shoot these tranq darts out of your varmint rifle. For larger animals, you got to shoot them half a dozen times or more sometimes. And then you take a sample from them, which I guess is you stick a needle in them and get a little bit of blood or something. I'm not sure. That's what it looks like you're doing. And then you go sell that to her. And this is kind of like picking up collectibles for the collector, except that the payback is a lot less. It's only, between $2 to $5 or so, depending on how dangerous or rare the animal is. I think it's more for the legendary animals. Maybe kind of more along the lines of what a typical collection would be like. The problem with this, of course, is that it is not that it's a bad thing in and of itself. It is very grindy, though, and in order to go up a level, you need to tag something like 40 animals. Now, after a while, there are other things you can do too. There's kind of like what are bootlegger missions for this naturalist lady. They kind of tend to involve going and rescuing some animal that's been trapped by poachers, they say. That's not an accurate term, however. It was not illegal to hunt these in the Old West. Therefore, they are not poachers. They're just hunters, and she's taking exception to them and wanting you to go kill them because she values the lives of animals more than the lives of people. She's actually a terrible person, but I'll get to that when I get to the ugly. But at least there are more things that you can do, and as you unlock more things in the role because you level up past a certain point, there's actually even more things you can do, different legendary animal rescues and other kind of stuff like that. But in the meantime, it's kind of grindy. You're doing what are basically the equivalent of bootlegger missions, where you go trash hunting camps and shoot a bunch of hunters. This is very similar to kind of trashing the moonshiners camp as a bootlegger mission. And you go shoot a whole bunch of animals and tag them, except that it's much more irritating than it is even for the trader, because you have to shoot them with these tranq darts and you need to shoot them a bazillion times to make them go down, it feels like. So I think the role itself is actually kind of the bad. It's not a great role. The workload associated with it isn't great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. I don't think it's quite as tedious as the collector, but then again, it drags on longer because you can't, find it's a lot harder to find a whole collection. And there will never be anything like the master collection map, because animals can spawn in all kinds of different places, or they can not spawn there depending on how things work. So it's going to be a little difficult to do this the way that it used to be done on the other roles, and I think it's gonna end up feeling really grindy to get all the way to the 20th level, I suspect. And I'm still at level 1. I'm more than halfway, but like I said, I was kind of just playing around, experimenting, trying to get my feet wet and figure out how this thing worked. If I really focused on it and just ran around out in the heartland shooting every animal I could find or whatever, or the Great Plains, or someplace where there's a lot of animals and it's easy to see them because it's wide open, I could probably grind through it a lot quicker than I did and get several levels. There's actually also, you can get, it's one of the rewards of the Outlaw Pass, is enough roll XP to level you up. So, there's other things you can do. There's also XP bonuses in the Outlaw Pass where you get a multiplier applied to your XP. So that helps, but I still think the role itself is going to be kind of grindy. Luckily, there's the side business that kind of came with the role of going and hunting stuff and taking it to Gus and making cool clothes, which, I don't know, I guess some people think that's pretty grindy too, but But that's all. You don't need to do it because it's all optional to get, and you get something cool out of it. It's not, this is what you have to do in order to rank up your role. So it feels much less tedious. Plus, I ended up kind of liking that before, and I think I probably will again. The ugly. The role is just pathetically politically correct. This character, who I think we are supposed to see as kind of a likable and charming, magical pixie girl kind of thing, is the most annoying bratty princess that I could possibly imagine them creating. She is one of those shrieking harpies that everybody hates, and I cannot stand having to interact with her at all. She is by far more annoying than Cripps, than Marcel, than Madame Nazar. Not that Madame Nazar is all that annoying. She's just by far the most annoying patron of them all. And the whole idea of being this kind of, commune, kumbaya with the animals kind of business is stupid to begin with. And literally nobody in the Old West would have ever thought of it. This is a bizarre modern affectation that only affects people in our civilization because we have been so prosperous and so removed from reality for so long that people can come up with these kind of stupid ideas to believe this kind of crap. Nobody in the Old West would have thought of it, and if somebody did, nobody would have taken them seriously. The fact that she lives in a tent out in the wilderness means she probably would have died of exposure or animal attack within the first couple of days, and she would be just kind of a laughable cautionary story about don't be stupid like she was. So I kind of find the whole concept irritating. I think a lot of the bonuses and whatnot that you get as you rank up are not necessarily very attractive or wantable. There's just like things like, in the Bounty Hunter, you got things that are widely applicable beyond even just the role. Like you got, for example, the ability to use your eagle eye while running or galloping. That's super convenient. No matter what else you're doing, that's great. There's really nothing like that here. Everything seems much more focused on what you're doing. And, there's some stuff that will help you in hunting, I suppose. So it'll have some applications in doing Gus's stuff, maybe if you go back and try and do the trader stuff. And I'm not going to be doing anything with the trader for a long time because all of my animal efforts will be towards either Harriet, this crazy lady, or Gus the trapper. And so Cripps is going to have to go on furlough. The other ugly, holy cow, the outfits that it has, what in the world? You look like Old West Liberace. These are the worst. I thought the Moonshiner outfits were kind of bad because the first two made you look like some kind of waiter. But the Moonshine outfits are wonderful compared to the ridiculousness that we got with the Naturalist. I will probably buy one of everything just because I can't stand not to, but they're absurd. They are also overpriced. The final outfit on all four of the other roles was expensive, but at least you paid for it in cash. Now they've gated it behind 12 gold, which is absurd. I am not going to be in a hurry anytime soon to spend 12 gold on an outfit that I know I don't want. And even the hat itself, I would only ever wear this thing as a joke. It's really terrible. It's terrible. It makes you look like, your bizarre drunken wine aunt who shows up when you're sad to bring you essential oils and chakras or whatever. And I don't actually have an aunt like that, but I'm familiar with the stereotype. And that's kind of what your outfit looks like. It is so strange. There's some other stuff too. There's a few new clothes that came out. They'll probably, I don't know. I actually didn't pay much attention to them. I don't know if they're long-term ads or if they're limited time. I think they're long-term ads. There's a Chinese shirt and some Chinese shoes. They're also grossly overpriced. I think the Chinese shirt is 12 gold. But if it's a long-term ad, then whatever. I don't think that they're I don't care about them. There's a couple of new weapons. There's an improved bow, which I think means that my old bow will go into my weapons locker for good. There's a lot of cool things you can do to customize the look of it, which they did not ever offer on the existing bow, so that's kind of fun. There's customization to the varmint rifle. There's more customization options too that you get through the Outlaw Pass, different types of metals, different types of inlays, different types of wood grain. So there's a lot of kind of cosmetic updates that you can get to make yourself look, or make your weapons look kind of different. The other thing that it offers is the Nitro Express rifle, or well, they call the ammo Nitro Express ammo, and they call the gun the Elephant gun, and it's a double-barreled rifle that shoots extremely high caliber rounds and do a lot of damage. Nothing else about the rifle's stats are really very good, but the damage is insane, and it's really intended mostly for shooting at the legendary animals because they have hit points out the wazoo. I can imagine some people trying to use this in PvP, but because the accuracy isn't very good, because the reload time is very, very slow, and because it kicks like you wouldn't believe, and if you're trying to shoot it while crouched, it will literally knock you down and you'll be laying on the ground. I can't imagine that it will be really a choice for PvP serious people in the future. I think right now people are doing it because of the novelty value, but I don't think that they're going to stick with it. It does do a lot of damage though, and I've seen some people kind of do some experiments with their buddies or even just random people that they managed to convince to do it. And even a body shot can be a one-shot kill with this thing. That's even more true. Well, that's not true if you're jacked up on tonics, of course, but it's a pretty serious gun. But like I said, other than the damage output, everything else about it really isn't very good. It is cool looking. It's suitably impressive. It's a very big gun. There's some other stuff too. Again, most of it's kind of expensive. There's a lot of the clothes that you can buy or have made are pretty pricey. So there's a lot of other little options too, but that's kind of the gist of it. I find that in general, I would say the update's a little disappointing. There's some stuff that I enjoy, and I'm glad that they added, and I'm kind of excited to kind of dig into it and do it for a while. But there's some other stuff that I find really kind of irritating. I think the roll itself is going to be grindy and not going to be one of my favorites. I think the roll is overpriced. They priced it as a tier 2 roll, like the Moonshiner. So it costs 25 gold, but it plays out, I think, more like a tier 1 roll. So I think, I don't know, like I said, I think I'm glad we got the update, and it's nice to have some new things to do. I really kind of wish it had been a little better though, and luckily we are expecting another update sometime around October, probably end of October. So it gives us plenty of time to do this, and it also means that we don't have to just be stuck with it, hopefully for 7 months like we were with what we had before. So I know that there are people running around trying to do this stuff as quickly as possible. They will obviously be looking for something new to do very soon. This will probably keep me busy for a while, but I'm pretty sure I'll be done with it after I'm done with, by the time the next update comes out. And I'm also pretty sure that this will not be one that I come back and do. I rarely go back and do anything with Bounty Hunter anymore because it was also kind of grindy and tedious after a while. I do occasionally do stuff with Trader because it's not very hard if you can find, cougars frequently and take them to, or you get attacked by wolves. And I should point out too that I've also noticed that the animal spawns are much more frequent now that they have done this. That was one of the things that they patched and fixed. And I don't know how many wolves I was attacked by last night, just in the 3 hours or so that I was playing. But one time, I got attacked by a pack of wolves while I was still literally in the process of skinning the first pack of wolves that I'd been attacked by. It's insane. The animals are kind of everywhere. I haven't seen a lot of cougars yet. I actually went up to the cougar bowl in Tall Trees and looked for one and didn't see one. I think I might have even gone twice. and I didn't see one, but that may be because there's a lot more people running around shooting at animals right now than normal, and so maybe that makes it hard to find. I have also found that the legendary animal spawns are not super reliable. Sometimes you need to dedicate a session specifically to doing a legendary animal so that you can join a new lobby if you don't find it right away. Because sometimes they don't spawn even if you're in the right area. And it may be because somebody else has already recently done it, or it may be just because they don't necessarily spawn every single time you're there. I'm not sure. But there's a couple places where I know for sure this is where you're supposed to go to find the spawn. And I went to one place twice. I went to another place once. And I went to a third place twice or maybe 3 times. Only once did I even get the notification that there was a legendary animal in the area, although I couldn't find it, and then it went away. It kind of disappeared on me. So I have not had any luck doing the legendary animals yet, but that will be something that will keep me busy for a while. There's a lot of legendary animals, although there's fewer types. I think, like I said, there's going to be more that come in, and each type of legendary animal comes in 3 varieties. So instead of being, for example, 1 legendary fox, there will be 3 legendary foxes. There will be a marble fox up by Coulter. There will be a cross fox, somewhere in Scarlet Meadows or wherever it is, and then there will be some other kind of legendary fox, and they'll all be different. And so they're kind of doing it. Well, there will be lots of different kind of legendary animal things to do. I actually think, like I said, I thought hunting was kind of fun in the first game, and I spent a lot of time doing it and building up all my trapper outfits and all that other stuff. So I kind of enjoyed that, and I will probably do a good deal more with that with this new update. A couple other minor things that I think are kind of interesting. Some people have kind of joked already that it's, girl characters can now put on a corset without a shirt, which means your shoulders and your cleavage is exposed, and a lot of people are kind of joking around about that. Apparently guys can now go without pants. I think this is partly because one of the things that is available in the Outlaw Pass is basically an old-fashioned nightgown kind of thing, like people used to wear back in the day, and there's a nightcap, a hat that you wear with it, and obviously you'd look ridiculous wearing that with pants. So I think you can actually choose to wear it without pants. Now, whether or not you can do other things without pants, I don't know. I haven't tried that yet. But if we start seeing people running around basically and without wearing much of anything, then that will be kind of curious. I've already seen a little bit of it already, but we'll wait until we find out if somebody can actually run around without any pants at all and just run around in a loincloth or whatever. As soon as somebody figures out that can be done, then all kinds of people are going to be doing it, I think. But there's other kind of interesting things like that too. There are actually a lot of fixes to the game, and most of them I haven't even looked at or documented. I know that they patched up a glitch on Lancaster Rapid Fire where you could somehow hop and shoot, and you could shoot faster. And they patched that. That doesn't work. Like I said, they've obviously done some work into improving animal spawns, because I've seen a lot more animals. There's a ton of animals in the farms now. There's just a ton of, there's a lot of little fixes. So, again, it's kind of a mixed bag. I'm glad it came, but it's not as good as I would have hoped. I think that there are better, and even for that matter, much more obvious roles that I don't know why they aren't doing. Why can't we do heists, for example? They already have them in GTA. It actually, if anything, makes almost more sense in this game, and yet they haven't done it yet. Why can't we do bank robberies and other stuff like that? Why can't we have an outlaw role? Why can't we have some kind of marshal role? Those seem like they would be much more obvious than some kind of bizarre kumbaya hippie PETA animal lover role. I really don't quite get why they went with this, except that I presume they were trying to do something a little different and unexpected. Well, they certainly did, but the risk there, of course, is that people kind of scratch their heads wondering what in the world you're doing and why you did it. Anyway, I'll let it go at that. It's been almost half an hour. I talked too long as it is. And I will maybe have some footage of myself playing here added very shortly as well.